Let me show you something. I took the hub off of this axle. You can see that it's got brakes. This is the part that when you engage the brakes, that this magnet pops out and hits the drum. The drum is off. These are your brake pads. When it pulls out, then it makes this spread out, and then that creates the drag. Well, we got a problem. Let me show you the problem that we've got. Number one, Scotty being Scotty. Take this out here, maybe in the sun a little bit. They went in 1982 and got the least expensive brake system that they could get. And that's on a 4-lug. 4-lug. And they're not even lug nuts. They're lug bolts. There's 4 bolts that go in here. Big deal, you say. Well, number one, it's a 14-inch tire. It's 4-lug. It's 1982. But anyway, somebody got the incorrect lug bolts and stripped these out, which you could fix. This, let me get you in there. The bolt did not come out. I tried to drill it out. I tried to easy out. Couldn't get it. So I called around, and they told me, they being the experts, said that throw it in the trash and get a new axle. You will not find that. And they were right. I called around to everybody that knows what they're talking about, and they said, no, dude, that is really just an old boat axle. It would be cheaper and better to just replace it. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it. First thing I have to do is replace that other side, and it'll end up looking just like this. Now, what they want me to do is measure from here to the same thing on the other side. So I've got to take that measurement. So face hub to face hub is where they want me to measure. So I'm going to do that after I put the other side on real quick, and then I'll let you know. All right, I got that bearing put back in, and the washer with that tooth on the one spot only. Now we gotta put this castle nut on, because it looks like a castle. And I don't know, there it goes. And we'll get it tightened down. The real question is, where is... I think that's the hole right there. Because there will be a hole in this, and you don't want it too tight. Those of you that have done this, well, I say that, now I don't know where it is. There it is, right there. Because you don't want this to wobble whatsoever. And this just holds that castle nut on there. This is all going in the trash as soon as we take it to get a new axle. And I'm going to tell you how much it costs and everything. I think that's very interesting. And we haven't had to change an axle in a long, long time. But we're going to do it now. And I look forward to taking you along. Then we put this little bearing on the bearing buddy, but it really isn't, on the outside. There we go. And that's back on. Now, hey, welcome to an awkward shot. Now, I will get the tire. I've got a ways to go, honestly, before I take this, because we really just put the skin on. But it's going to be done within a week, I hope. And I'm going to take the measurement, and then I'm going to put the wheels back on it. And then they're already ruined. So I'm going to take the same bolts, and I'm going to strip them out. I'm going to put them in there, and they won't come out, which won't matter to the people at the shop, because they're just going to put a new one on anyway. So that's where we're at right now. I've got a lot to get there, and you're going to be seeing some things in between, and then when I get back to this, I'll get back to this. And I thought I was done for just now, but I'm not. I'm going to see if I can take this measurement across here. Ooh. And see exactly what we're working with. Now, I gotta go through both of these springs if I'm going to take an accurate measurement. It'd be nice if I had a hand on the other side over there, but I think I'll get it. I'll get it. Maybe. Come on. Long way to go for a measurement, isn't it? So it's right to there, which is 57 inches. Ugh. 57 inches. Okay. So I'm going to call up there and make sure that they do make them in 57. Well, here's one for you. I called the axle place and said, hey, you're holding an axle for me. Can I come in this afternoon? Oh, sure, yeah, we still got your name on it, Mr. Rebuilder. And, would that be cash or charges? I put it on my credit card. I'll get my 1.5% back, you know. They said, okay, cool. See you this afternoon. Said, hey, how long is it going to take? I'm not rushing you, but do I wait on it or do I just come back? I can come back tomorrow, no big deal. He said, excuse me, sir. We don't do service. This is parts only. I've been working, man, today. I'll keep you updated. I got to go get that 3,500-pound axle, 4.5 on 5. But I got this apart. She was rusty and crusty. That's all right. Just got back from the axle store that does not do any installation. Fortunately for me, I gave Jim a call. He's going to come out and help me in the morning. I'm going to try to get some things prepped for him. And as you can see, let me bring these up closer to you. This is the drum. Now remember, this is about 3 times the size of that little 4 lug we had. This is a 5 lug, 4.5 on 5, and it's the drum. That's what our brakes are going to work on. Excuse me. These are the inside of the brakes. These are pretty standard. They haven't changed much over the years. This little magnet right here will engage, and it will make one of these slide out and make, or maybe both, I don't know. We'll ask Jim. I think it's this one. But it'll slide out. This one will hit, and then they'll just both hit, and they will electronically, magnetically stop your trailer. I'm sure Jim will figure that out a little better for us. I got all new U-bolts and nuts for the U-bolts. And of course the little perches that hang on. Got a bag of, can you see those bearings and everything that goes in? Now I can do the rest. I can do this too. But man, Jim knows his way around these. And our customer is leaving here in just a couple of days, and they're going all the way to Tennessee. All the way to Tennessee. So we better make sure we're number one on this, and Jim's going to help us with that. Like I said, I can do it, but you know what? If you've got a guy that's done it 50,000 times, okay, that's a lot. He's done it 100 times. Why would you not bring him in on the deal? So, first thing I'm going to do is we have to take the backs here, and we've got to put these nuts and washers on them. So I'm going to do that to both of these. You don't have to watch that, but I'll show you when I'm done. All right, I got those in. And I know, I said purchase. This is what I meant. Don't stay out of the comments. All right, so I got those put on both sides. Got them tightened down. Looking good, huh? And when I go to wire this, let me tell you now, because I'm going to climb underneath, but I don't want to have to tell you then. But I will run, we have 7-pin because we have brakes. So one of these will go to the 7-pin blue connector. Now some of the 7 pins are different, but one will go to the blue up on the 7-pin connector. And then this one will come out all the way over to here and terminate right there. That's your power. That's the power. It goes in there, comes out here, goes in there, and then the white, which really is white, is the ground. And we'll run one ground to this. The white will be all the way in the front of the 7-pin. And I'll take you through it. I just wanted to tell you what I'm doing here because I'm going to be climbing underneath tomorrow when Jim gets here, and I don't want to have to take my camera with me. I will if something cool happens, but this is nice new stuff. My hands are going to get dirty, but it's cool. I like it. I like it. I'll as soon as Jim gets here in the morning, I'll get back at it. All right, we did a little work off camera. Jim's going to take you through what we did.
Okay, we put this axle underneath there, put the leaf springs, and we'll show you the picture of the leaf springs in just a minute. Got a measurement from center to center on these perches. Then we'll put this in there and put the U-bolts. Let's see, we go like this. Around this and sandwich the leaf springs in there and run the bolts in and bolt up the axle. And then we're ready to put the tires and stuff on it and be back on the road with a brand new axle, new brakes, ready to go.
I did a little welding on that. I don't want Jim to take credit for that, all those boogers on there, but it may not be pretty, but it's going to do the job. So, Jim, you want to talk about measuring for that?
Yes, we put the leaf springs back up underneath. I don't know if you can see. It got a center to center from one side to the other. That's what we're calling leaf springs. That leaf spring set has got 3 leaves in it. So we'll slide this axle back in there and on that centering pin and bolt everything back together.
That's what I was focused on, is that's the centering pin.
That keeps the axle from sliding forward and back, even though it's bolted. That just keeps it centered.
And that centering pin goes in between, or into each one of those holes. All right, so we got to get that measured exactly, because what could happen if we're an inch off?
If the axle would set sideways, one of your tires would rub on the outside, one could rub on the inside. So that's very, very critical. You get this axle centered under the frame, which that's where the leaf springs are mounted to, as a frame. So make sure this measurement is from center leaf spring to leaf spring. So we're ready to slide it back in there and get it bolted up.
And you can see right here is the mark that Jim made. And so we knew to go halfway that way, halfway that way. You saw that in that window install. That's how we do it. And apparently that's how Jim does it for the axle. So Jim says we're ready to get it installed. Well, check that out. There's the front side. You've seen that, though. Let's get around the back. Me and Jim been crawling underneath here. You can kind of see there what we did. We've got the, let me crawl under here. Good shot. I'm glad you guys showed up today. Looky there. We got the hangers on. Got the perch on. Up there, welded on. I welded, got everything welded. Perch. And the hangers, everything's on there. It looks real nice. I've got to still have to run the wiring, which shouldn't be any trouble. It's easy to do right there. I just wanted you to see what it looked like under here, tightened up, ready to go down the road. We've just got to put the bearings in, so we're going to get working on that right now. All right, we've got one last step, and Jim's going to get me started here. What are we working on, Jim?
Well, we're going to grease these brand new bearings up. Always put a little bit of grease inside that there. And then this is the way, they've got all kinds of power greasers and all that, but this is the way I've done it. Is you just start pushing it down on your hand right there, and then here in just a second you'll see the grease start coming through the top. These are brand new bearings because they're going to take a little more than...
Oh, there it's coming up there towards the edge. There it comes. So we just want to keep doing this until we've got it all the way around.
You better get your paper towels handy, but you will get. If you can see, the grease is starting to come all the way through. These were brand new bearings, so it takes a while to get the grease pushed all the way through. And just keep going round and round. See that making the grease is coming through.
We know the grease is all the way in and around.
And just keep going round and round. I've always said grease is cheaper than new axles, so always get plenty of grease in there.
Oh yeah, and stick around. I'm going to tell you exactly what new axles cost. I forgot to say that earlier, but yeah, I'm going to tell you what I got in this thing.
Put plenty of grease in there, and push the bearing in. Wipe some of that out. And the brand new seals, always put a little bit around this rubber seal, because you don't want it, you want it to slide on the axle shaft good, and you don't want it real dry because it can't eat up the bearing. I know I'm getting grease everywhere, but
we'll get it cleaned up on that brand new.
Hold that the best you can. Go right around. Just work your way around and around. See it's going in there. And you want to get it down flush with the hub. So just make sure your grease is like that. That's how you install the rear bearing. You flip this over, grease up your front bearing, and put it in there, and it's ready to go on.
All right, well, Jim showed us a lot today, and he sure helped me out. Jim, I appreciate you, and I feel a lot better knowing that you were here to help me when this is going down the road back to Tennessee.
All right, glad to be here. Get those campers ready this winter and get them to the campground.
All right. If you need any free labor from Jim, thanks, Jim. Let's just end on an awkward shot, shall we? I told you I'd tell you what this was going to run. Now, remember, this one has brakes. Now, you can get the same axle without brakes for a little over $400. And you can get one with brakes depending on if you need some of those, you need some of these. It's going to be anywhere between $525 and $600. I know that's a little bit of a stretch, but none of them are the same. Actually, they all come the same. It's just what else do you need to put on yours? Okay, so we do have to get it wired up and just the extras. So if you plan on with brakes, between $525 and $600, you're going to be okay. Now, let's talk labor. I'm not able to charge labor on this one, as neither one of us expected this. Plus, if I had to pay labor, as you saw, I'd have to pay Jim, and I'm not so sure I can afford Jim. He's kind of an expert, you know. But listen, we're not axle repairmen, so I'm sure it goes much quicker. But it took us 3 hours. That's 2 men, 3 hours. So, what it would cost to put it on at a shop? I mean, they could probably do it in an hour, one guy, but I don't have the equipment to do that. But we got it on there. It's a great axle. I took it out for a spin. Well, let's look more at the axle and less of me. And man, it rides nice. Just such a big difference. These are 14-inch tires. The other ones were 13s, and it was a small 4 lug axle. This is a 5 lug. It's a 3,500 pound axle. It's nice. It's nice. All right, I'll be back in a couple of days with something pretty cool and less awkward for you. Thanks for watching.